Welcome back to the Super Sentai review. This is episode number 2. And the Sentai we're going over is Denji Sentai Megaranger. The Super Sentai used for Power Rangers in space. Now, this one, instead of having a it's slightly different than it is in Power Rangers. It's a bit more darker than it is in Power Rangers. Now, the 5 people who are the Mega Rangers, they are like they are in Power Rangers, high schoolers, except they actually are teenagers instead of look like they're in their 20s. And one thing uniquely different than in space is that the leader of the team is not the Red Ranger. Surprisingly, the leader of the team is the Black Ranger. I'm not kidding. If you watch the thing, Black Ranger is the one giving all the orders. Now, their base operations originally was a... Now, the way the thing started off is that... Now, those of you who've seen the ending of Turbo, remember General Nirdon. His counterpart is the main mentor for Megaranger. Unlike General Nirdon, who only appeared, Nirdon, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who only appeared for one episode, his counterpart, let's see if I can bring it up here. Am I bringing it up here? Let's see here. His counterpart's name is... Let's see here. I'm trying to bring up his name here. It's taking a little while to load up. Okay. Okay. Professor Ikachi Kotaba. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's the one in charge of the Mega Ranger program. Now, one thing unique about the Mega Ranger program, what they use they pretty much, if you want to know where they got that opening footage of the Mega Ranger what looked like the Space Rangers in Power Rangers in Space, where they're all in space and they're scanning stuff, and you're wondering why didn't they use that footage in the show? That's actually from one of the episodes in the show. One of the early episodes. They were looking for the Bee Monster. Yeah, but the thing is, unlike in space where they actually went to different planets, this one they never did. They actually on Earth. They actually did go to space, but they only stayed on Earth over it. And from out of nowhere, even though it was a 2-parter, it's basically used footage from the very first episode of this one, where the thing destroys the complex, which is some of the footage was that used for the 3rd episode, I think it was. And and here's the thing. What they did is they didn't change the name of the Zords like they did in Gangamon. Of course, this is later on, but what they did is add the name Zord to them. Now, the first one is the Astro Mega. That's what I'm thinking. Astro Mega. Where's Zord? Well, that's what it was called. In Power Rangers, all they call it was simply the Astro Mega Zord. Now, also like the Sentai footage, they have 3. They have 2 Megazords and 2 support Zords. There is the Delta Mega, aka Delta Megazord, and the Mega Winger. I think it's how you pronounce. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. It's the Let's see. Oh, excuse me. The Mega Voyager. This one they did not change the name for, because I guess they was like, this is an interesting name. This is a really good name. Now, some of you are wondering, basically, you know how in space, basically, whenever they went into the Mega Voyager and they went down by ropes and looked like it was automatic, in Power Rangers, in Sentai, that was actually people operating that base. And no, it was not on Titan. It was actually on the moon where they actually had this base. And originally, the Astro Mega ship was actually their original base operations. And once the Mega Winger was built, they moved the base operations from, and the place is called INTA. Yes, INTA. They're the ones who they're the sort of defense group. Basically, it's more the who defend off against the villain Nazarene. The Nazare, I think that's how you pronounce him. Now, the main villain of this whole thing, his name is Dr. Haller. Yes, he is the one who actually is the main villain of this. The main well, there's also another guy who kind of serves as basically, well, inspiration for Dark Spectre. His name is Evil Emperor King Javas the First. And he appears for a good chunk of Megaranger before he's actually killed. Yeah, he's actually killed when the whole Nazla dimension is destroyed. Yeah, it's an actual dimension. Some people are wondering about the Dark Fortress, why it looked like it was like half in dimension, half out. That was how they traveled. And you know that footage you see of them basically supposedly orbiting Earth or another planet, and they're firing out a mega beam? Yeah, they only did that once the entire time. They pretty much what that is, that's reused stock footage over and over again. Everybody thinking, this looks cool, let's use it. Also, the main fortress that they use is called the let's see here. It's called Death Nazro. That's pretty much a dark fortress in the Sentai footage, and it looks really cool. Just like the Dark Fortress looks cool too. But this one you actually see a little bit more of it. And here's something interesting though. The main operation center what they use is completely different than it is in space. Where it looks like it's more controlled. This one is like one view thing and a control panel. That's simply it. Ecliptor is more cunning in the Sentai footage. Yeah. That's simply how he is. And something interesting though. At no point in time does the Red Ranger figure out that the Astronomer's counterpart, which is an android by the way, yeah, Dr. Heller was a Emperor Cybernex. Astronomer's counterpart, her name is Shebla, who is a robot based upon the Dr. Heller's late daughter who died. The other villains are let's see. There's Bobbity, who actually showed a few times. Let's see here. There is Ugande, I think that's how you pronounce him. He's basically Clippus. He looks exactly the same. Don't change him. Then there is Grell. Unlike in Lost Galaxy. Not in the case of In Space, where they kept bringing the character back after he's supposedly defeated, like when they get their Mega Voyager and defeat him. Oh yeah, he is defeated and he stays dead the rest of the time. Oh, and how he makes his debut is one of the most dark. It's in my honest opinion, it is the darkest episode of the entire Sentai. What he does. He launches a full-scale assault, I think it's on Tokyo, and he causes a lot of damage, and what he does is he kidnaps about 30 children. And he kills people too. He's slicing and dicing people like crazy. I mean, unlike in Power Rangers where he's a badass bounty hunter, in this one, the guy is pure evil. And the guy, he was basically brought there by Javas. It's sort of like someone to help them out because they weren't defeating the Mega Ranger fast enough, so he was brought in. And he didn't stay on for very long. He only stayed on for about 14 episodes and he got killed off. Yeah. And once he died, he stayed dead. He never came back. Oh, and he did merge with Ecliptor's counterpart in the Sentai footage. That did happen. Let's see, what else? Delta Mega, basically, how they got that. That one was a little bit different than how they got it in space. In space, the Phantom Ranger, who in Car Ranger is known as VR Ranger, I think its good name is. The Phantom Ranger was the one who gave it to them, and it was just found completely out of nowhere. In Sentai, it was built by the same company who built the Astro Megazord, the Astro Mega. And at one point, the thing is actually stolen by evil and briefly controlled by them. And the professor was like, "Oh yeah, you better destroy it." And then pretty much the whole entire mechanic crew, who actually works on Astro Mega, and they told him, "Don't destroy it. Like, tell him the secret program." And they kept persisting on it. It's like, okay, fine. And the secret program is that the Astro Mega can combine with the Delta Mega, just like it does in Power Rangers. Simply put. Oh, and also, one unique change they did make from Power Rangers, from the Megaranger to In Space. The episode where Delta Megazord are destroyed. In Power Rangers, it's the Rangers inside the Astro Megazord. In the Sentai footage, and this is a bit bizarre, it's the workmen who were in control of the Astro Megazord while the Rangers are off fighting another monster. Yeah. Oh, and Red Ecliptor, by the way, unlike in Power Rangers where he survives it, in Space, he dies not long after that. And just by sheer coincidence, the female assistant of Dr. Heller dies in the very same episode. I am not kidding about that. Oh, you know, Tankenstein, his monster form? Yeah, it's Death Necro's monster form. Yeah, the main base operations becomes an actual monster. Oh, and it does destroy Mega Winger in just like it does in Power Rangers. And here's the thing. That monster was actually the last one. And before then, something unique happened that was different than it is in Power Rangers. The Mega Rangers were receiving negative... They were basically getting booed. And here's the reason why. The episode where they had the secret city with the kidnapped people, stuff like that. And in case you're wondering if the Red Ranger has a single battleizer mode, nope. I was waiting for it. Never happened. Pretty much what they did is that they... it was kept in an underwater city. The city was underwater. And here's something unique, though. Unlike the main villain of In Space, who knew the Rangers who they really were, Dr. Heller never knew who the Rangers were. When he saw them morph for the first time, he was shocked to figure out that the people he was fighting all this time were high schoolers. He was shocked. So what did he do? He sent a monster out there to high school. Yep, he sent a monster to the high school, and then they morphed in front of the whole school. Which the monster inadvertently, when they're trying to dodge attacks, he not only missed the Rangers, but actually he accidentally attacked the students and several teachers. And because of that, the Rangers were receiving negative reception. People were booing them because they hated that. The fact that kids got hurt. And you know what's really bizarre, though? Furio, like I mentioned, in the Sentai footage, the costume only appears for 5 minutes. And it's Dr. Heller's monster form. And it's very creepy. The guy shows up completely out of nowhere. And what does he do? He attacks the professor. Because they used to be old friends. Yeah. Like, I was shocked to see this. Like, sweet Jesus. Because I knew he was having monsters because I read about it. But I never knew what he was going to do. I mean, wow. It was something. Oh, and here's something interesting, though. Dr. Heller, believe it or not, is human. Unlike the Nazarene, actually all most of them are robots and from another dimension. He does destroy the actual dimension. Now, here's something unique, though. The Psycho Rangers, Nazi Rangers, that's what the N stands for on their belt. Like, some of you are very curious, like, they're called Psycho Rangers, and yet their belt says N. And the Sentai footage, they know, was Nazi Rangers. Now, in Power Rangers, it was later retconned in Lost Galaxy. They were created by Deviant. In Megaranger, when they returned the data cards, they were never seen again. The data cards were destroyed. Unlike in Space, they survived, and somehow they handed them in the hands of Deviant, and he regenerated them. Let's see what else. Just to let you know about that. Something else. Let me think. Anything else to talk about when it comes to this? Like any unique differences? Well, the KO-35 in the Sentai footage, the scene they used is actually from another dimension. Yep. And the Red Ranger doesn't have a really big rivalry with Ecliptor's counterpart in the Sentai footage. Let's see, what else? Most of the monsters are pretty much defeated the same way. Oh, one thing they do change that is not in Power Rangers. Yeah, there's a couple things. One, the Psycho Rangers actually take human form briefly. And something else unique different though. The Silver Ranger. He's not the same age as the Red Ranger. He's actually much older. And unlike the Mega Rangers who kept their identity secret, make a Silverhead identity publicly known. And the Mega Rangers knew who he was. And like in Power Rangers, Dr. Hello, that created equivalent for Silver Ranger, and of course Silver Ranger poses as not as a Silver. And unlike in Power Rangers where he basically solved this little problem where he like a few minutes kept switching back and forth, in Power Rangers there was a reason for that. Apparently he only can stay morph for about 2.5 minutes, and then he loses form. And how he morphs is exactly the same way. He actually does something different. Instead of saying "Let's rock it," he just types in the word "mega," and he says, and the call sign is install. That is the call. That's actually the signal to morph. That's a morphing call. I almost forgot this in Gigamon. The morphing call for that one is it's not galactic. Go galactic. It's something else. I don't remember the name. I think it's like suit up. I think it's suit up. I think it is. I think that's what it's called. Some occasion wondering why the phone, the Mega Silver, basically whenever you use that phone it says Mega. That's because of how it was in Sentai. Also, it's explained in the Mega Ranger why the Silver Ranger looks the way he does. Apparently, the suit was a prototype of the Mega Ranger suits. Yeah, that's simply the way it was. And unlike in Power Rangers, where it was a group of rebels who built the Mega Winger, excuse me. In the Sentai footage, the Mega Silver built it. And of course, at the time, he got rid of the time limit, and he built the support mech. The support mech was actually his last contribution to the Mega Project, which he actually kept delaying a lot in the show. Like, he kept going about, riding his motorcycle, and half the time he was afraid. Oh, and the Battleizer thing, unlike in Asteroid just got completely by random. In the Sentai footage, it's given to Red Ranger. It's given to him by the mentor, and he it's part of a whole thing when the Ranger accidentally hits a kid because this creature kept swapping things, and he was really thinking of giving up being a Ranger. And he just took him and says, "Oh, he'll buy him lunch." Yeah, he had this thing where he kept asking to buy him lunch. I don't know. It was a thing of his for the show. And they commonly, when they're at the school, they met out of the get this, a digital club. Yeah, that's what it was called, digital club. It was basically a computer club, and pretty much that's what the Rangers made, but basically they're all computer club. They're basically computer experts, so at least they knew what they were doing. There was things with there was some character stuff with the people who actually worked on the Astro Mega, and at one point they were thinking on banning it because, like, yeah, the person's like, no, you can't ban. There's 100 people in here. Yeah, it takes 100 people to operate that Megazord. And that is something unique that was never explored in Power Rangers. But what do I think of it overall? It's just as good as in space. And even though the ending is actually different than it is in space, where instead of having like all the villains just go around the universe and just take all these random planets. In in this one, they actually just defeat a giant monster. It's completely different, and it's a bit more darker and not as upbeat as the Countdown to Destruction like it was in space. Okay, so that's it for this episode. In the next episode, I'm actually going to go over a crossover film, and it's Gingamon versus Megaranger. I figured there'll be a good time to talk about it. Like I'll talk about between every couple episodes, I might talk about these crossover films I have seen. Okay, so until then, I will see you there. Bye.